What is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football alongside of Ezra from Idiot Ezra, and we're bringing you guys a Week 2 edition of the Red Zone Blitz for the 2016 NFL season. Keep in mind, guys, we are with you always on Twitter and on Facebook. You guys can hit us up at Wake Up It's Football. Again, Facebook, Twitter, those handles are down below. Same for Ezra. And we're going to get right into the show here. Ezra's fixing up all his stuff over there. He's still getting ready, but
I'm good now, my man, David. I know
we had a busy week, man. Week 2, a lot of injuries, a lot of games that weren't expected, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to talk about some of this stuff, but
it's been a great start. It's been a great start the first 2 weeks of the season. So, as a football fan, I feel pretty good. Love the first 2 weeks. A lot of excitement, and especially I think it was week 2. There was a lot of close games in the end of the fourth, in the middle of the fourth quarter. So we got to be very happy about that as a football fan. And, it feels good to be back. And I'm sorry that I missed the first 2 weeks because of work. So who gets the boot this week is my job. Straight up, they get the boot. I wish I could give the boot to a specific individuals at work, but I would like to go back to that job. So let's just say the whole company gets the boot. And the funny part is the people that own my company own the Steelers. Well, their family owns the Steelers.
Look at that.
So the Roonies, you get the boot for making me work. I'm just joking, guys. It's a joke. I do like the Steelers.
Everybody's on the injury report, including myself this week. I'll get into that for a second, but in the comment box, you got J88. He says his entire team got destroyed by injury.
They're getting on me talking about my fantasy team is poopity poop. But guess what?
Yeah.
Only reason I lost week 1 is because I lived up to my name. I'm an idiot. Grunk is out in week 1, my 7th overall pick, and I forgot to put Eric Ebron as my starting tight end. I hate ESPN. I hate it, but I can't blame ESPN. That's all my fault. I would have won that week if Eric Ebron, who should have been my starter.
I play football on Sundays before all the games start, and week 1 we play like when the season starts. We played week 1 and we played week 2, and I don't know what I did to my back on 2 weeks ago, but this last Sunday I played again, and I put myself on the injury report. I don't know if I'm going to be playing this Sunday. I've been
day to day right now.
I'm currently day to day. I'm questionable to play on Sunday. And I'm trying to fix.
Are you questionable or doubtful? Come on, let's be. You gotta, it's Wednesday.
Honestly, I'd like to be. You can't use the probable designation anymore. I'd like to be probable. I'd like to be okay to play because
you're questionable, and it could be upgraded or downgraded as the days go by.
Right, because I really don't want to mess my back up.
All right, so we better get a Twitter update during the week. So guys, hit up David during the week. Tomorrow, Friday. What's his injury status?
Yeah, I'll let you guys know as long as you ask. I'm like, oh, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, today I'm questionable. I mean, it's getting better as the days go on. I've been fixing. I got these patches I've been putting on.
Get that. What is it? The cortisone shot. Why don't you get a shot?
I don't have access to that medical.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, yeah. So we'll see
if you guys want to know, I'm on what is it? Injury reserve / retirement list. That's my football status for this Sunday. Okay. Yeah, maybe I can pull a Brett Favre. I pull a Brett Favre once in a while. I come out, I dust off the old sneakers and I hit the field.
What about the fantasy league? We started talking about that. A lot of the guys are talking about that in the FanDuel comment box. J88 and Andrew Kim.
Black Mamba just wants to talk smack that he destroyed me this past week in fantasy football.
There's only 3 teams now in this league out of the 12 that are undefeated.
and I'm winless, so I can't. I should be 1-1, but that's okay. It's all right.
I won my matchup last week by 7 points. It was 100-93, and the question I asked everyone last week: should I take Randall Cobb out of my lineup, put in LeGarrette Blount? If I did not do that, I would have lost. So thanks to everyone who convinced me to do that. I think I'm going to keep him in now because they're going to definitely rely on him with Jimmy Garoppolo going down. And you got Jacoby Brissett, rookie quarterback out of, I believe, NC State, who could be starting. Now, they haven't went out and signed a backup. They're saying Julian Edelman is the backup quarterback in the scenario where Jimmy Garoppolo does not play and is ruled out for tomorrow night. So, yeah, I'd like to see Julian Edelman throwing a couple of passes. That'd be interesting. But
that'd be awesome for fantasy football, right? If you have him as your receiver, he gets about 11 catches and he throws for 2 touchdowns.
Absolutely. But, so far, the 3 players in our league who are undefeated is Straight Cash Homie, who is Nicholas Guzman, Raider Hazard, and Gridiron Seahorses, who is Zachification. Those 3 guys are 2-0. Everybody else is 1-1 except for Ezra, Andrew Kim, and the Connecticut McNutters.
And it's funny, I'm facing the other team that's 0-2. I mean, who am I facing this week? It should just say right on scoreboard. It should tell me. Let me see. No, that's telling me that's telling me I lost by 60. Oh, I'm facing the Connecticut. I'm facing Jason. I'm facing the McNutters this week. One of us has got to win.
I am facing Andrew Kim, who is 0-2 as well. So Andrew, I don't foresee you getting your first win this week if you're watching. I don't know. Is he watching? I think he's watching.
Who?
Andrew Kim. Yeah, he's watching. Andrew,
he's right there.
Talking to you, man. We're playing against each other this week. You're going 0-3. I'm looking at the projected total. We're pretty close, but I don't look at projected stats and numbers. My team's going to do all the talking this week.
I'm projected to win by 6. Okay. Whew. All right.
Anyway, enough about fantasy football. Let's get into...
It's never enough fantasy football. Never enough.
Because the injuries we're going to talk about definitely impacts fantasy football.
Yes, because it impacted me because I was not able to pick up any of these guys.
The most notable injury from today, I'd say, is Corey Coleman of the Cleveland Browns, their rookie wide receiver.
Well, what about Adrian Peterson? He's going to be out for indefinitely.
And Adrian Peterson, those 2 players. But Corey Coleman, more recently, because he broke his hand in practice, and he's going to be out anywhere from, I think, 3 to 4, maybe 5-6 weeks, depending.
Practice.
Yeah, he broke it in practice, and then you got Adrian, who's not only did he was it a torn meniscus?
Adrian Peterson.
It was a torn meniscus. And will be out a minimum of 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, I just said he's out indefinitely. You didn't hear me? He's out for a while.
I didn't hear 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months the rest of the year.
You gotta wake up, David. Okay, I know the hair's gotta be on top of the hair, but Adrian Peterson, the Vikings, even though they have very good depth at the running back position, you are losing the former MVP. You're one of all-time great players in franchise history in a season where you're big-time contenders. Okay, well, you're considered a contender. I think we could put the Vikings up pre-Adrian Peterson injury that they were a top 6, top 8 team in this league. So
he still couldn't lead them to the promised land, though. You can't do it all by himself.
Of course not, but they have depth. They have a team around them. They have a very vicious defense. They got the pieces put together. That's why they went out very aggressively and got Sam Bradford in there, because they believe this team can do damage in the playoffs and contend for a Super Bowl. And I was 100% behind that thinking and the aggressiveness of getting Sam Bradford. I wonder how long I've been telling you guys, Hey, the Eagles don't want Sam Bradford? Bring him to the Jets. So far, the first 2 weeks, that move has panned out very nicely.
Yeah, I would say so, especially, against Green Bay, who, I mean, it's really, really, really tough to see Aaron Rodgers struggle the way he's been struggling. He struggled last season. He struggled, I'd say, more in week 2 than he did in week 1. But, there's been passes where they've just been overthrown. They haven't been as accurate as we've normally seen out of Aaron Rodgers. And to be quite frank, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks right now are outplaying Aaron Rodgers from a statistical standpoint, but also from, an accuracy standpoint. A standpoint in which, quarterbacks are successfully, I guess, completing the ball. Aaron Rodgers is not playing top 5 football, top 10 football even. He's playing more of like a middle of the pack type quarterback right now. And you're seeing guys like Derek Carr outplaying him. Some of these younger guys, Jimmy Garoppolo, outplayed Aaron Rodgers in about a quarter and a half before he got hurt than what Aaron Rodgers did all game against the Minnesota Vikings. So that game was tough to watch. It was very, very hard to watch. And I praised Mike McCarthy last week for making a call against the Jaguars. Packers the game, kicking a field goal rather than going for it on 4th and down in red zone territory. He did that in week 1. In week 2, he was forced into that same situation, except this time he went for it. They failed, and they lost by a field goal rather than kicking that field goal. So I'm not putting it all on Aaron Rodgers. I think there was some decision-making by the coaches that was also, helped the Packers lose that game. But Sam Bradford outplayed.
Isn't Aaron Rodgers notoriously a slow starter in the league? Maybe not as bad as this, but
I wouldn't say slow starter, because in the years in which he won the Super Bowl up to about 2014, between like 2009 or 2010, 2004, like there's 5 years where he just dominated. And the year where they went 15-1, I want to say that was in 2013. Just off the charts numbers, like 45 touchdowns, 7-8 interceptions, things along those lines. You're just not going to see things like that, besides if you're talking like a Tom Brady maybe. But more recently, I mean, last year statistically he still didn't do bad, but if you watch the games, again, statistics don't tell everything. There's just something off about Aaron Rodgers. Can't really.
And if you want, like you said, last year was overall, because how great he is, was viewed as a disappointment. It was a decline for Aaron Rodgers, and how, but like I said, that a bad year for him is a great year for most quarterbacks in this league. So if you want to look at last year's decline and this start, then I can understand some worry, some concerns from the fans. But overall, I would like to believe that his long track record of being so good in this league, that it'll work out. I don't know if it's play calling, chemistry, but there's problems on the line. It could be a talent situation. There's talent and depth concerns with the Packers overall, not just Aaron Rodgers and his quote-unquote decline the last couple weeks, if you want to include last year.
I read Black Mama's comment. He said that Jimmy G over Aaron Rodgers, and that he said it last week. Yeah, we had like 4 Patriots fans last week in the chat.
I can only imagine how.
And they were jumping up and down. They were causing all kinds of noise about Jimmy Garoppolo and how he's better than Aaron Rodgers.
Of course. Guess what? Guess what's better? That system. I've been saying it for a long time. That doesn't take away from Tom Brady's greatness, but that system that Charlie Weiss created for Bill Belichick long, long ago is the best in the NFL. That's why Matt Castle looks sweet in it. That's why Jimmy G looks very excellent in it in his first couple career starts. And that's why Tom Brady, one of the reasons, he is an all-time great. That system works perfect if you got the right quarterback. And these guys just, quick reads, quick slants, curls, they make it easy for their quarterback. I'm not saying, you put Jimmy G, he's going to become Tom Brady. I'm not saying that because Tom Brady is one of the all-time greats. I'm not going to take anything away from him. But that system is pretty sweet when it comes for quarterbacks. It's always worked for Charlie Weiss.
Yeah, Andrew Kim says Julian Edelman would probably throw 300 yards in that system. I don't know about that. But Bill Belichick is the man with the plan. He knows what's going on. He knows what to do with that team.
Hey, we were talking about New England. I just want to give a shout out because I just came from Boston. I went to Boston this past weekend. Boston is truly a sports town. I mean, I went whale watching. Half of the boat was wearing Red Sox, Patriots gear. You don't even have to be at a sporting event. I was whale watching, bro. Okay, I was watching these humpbacks, flipping their fins, jumping out the water, and I see Patriots and Red Sox gear everywhere in the middle of the ocean. So I got to give them a shout out. They love their sports. It's no joke, sir.
I'm looking at some of the comments. Michael Rogalski saying, I think this is referring to the Packers and Vikings game. Is a low-scoring game. At that point, you take the points when you have a chance, which I agree with. I think you always take the points whenever you have the chance. Just, you never know, man, in the NFL. There's those crazy situations. Everyone has seen it. Every single week we'll see a game where there's 2 minutes left and somehow a team will manage to still get a possession and try and win the game. So you always take the points.
Not always. You don't have to always do it. You don't have to
always. I mean, it obviously depends.
I think it depends on the feel of the. To me, I have no problem with coaches being very aggressive. That's why I had no problem, even if it failed. In week 1, where Jack Del Rio went for it for those 2 points, said,
"Right,
that's right here. Let's go for the game."
Right
now, if he would have missed, what would have been the topic of discussion? He should have went into overtime and this is why the Raiders can't win anything because they don't know what the hell they're doing. If it works out, no one gives a crap. No one judges it. No one second. Everyone is a perfect coach in hindsight. Okay, so I think depending on the feel of the situation, like you said, low scoring game, and such. I guess I would have went with the field goal, but the point is, I think it's a moment. And I have no problem with coaches being aggressive. I'm at home sometimes, and I'm saying, "Hey, go for it, And it kills me sometimes that these coaches go through this. I don't want to say conservative play calling, but I feel like they'll, in some cases, in a lot of cases, in the back of their mind, they don't want to get that backlash if the move doesn't work out because it's not the typical normal football, quote unquote, smart decision. So, I got no problem with coaches being aggressive.
So with us being on the topic of the Patriots and potentially Jacoby Brissett starting tomorrow, this is a Thursday night game. Because I've heard these reports and rumors about how the possibility of Jimmy Garoppolo might play with this AC joint sprain. I don't see that happening. But if he were to start, they're playing at home against a 2-0 Texans team. I believe they're 2-0. They beat the Bears and they beat the Chiefs so far. If I had to ask you right now, either Garoppolo's playing with the injury that he has, or Brissett is playing, and you're hosting a Houston Texans team that's 2-0. Who wins this game in Foxborough?
Oh man, if Jimmy G was playing, I might lean towards that way. But after what I was, like I said, I was in Boston this past weekend. I was at a sports bar because I wasn't going to miss my football. I don't care if I was out of town. You feel what I'm saying? I had to tell my lady, see you later, honey. You go to the museum, I'll be at the sports bar. But that's besides the point here. After I saw Jacoby get into the game, the dude is trash. He's just not ready yet. He's just not ready to play in the NFL. Maybe he'll look a lot different, getting practice, first-team reps, and Bill Belichick will develop and that coaching staff will develop a plan to put him in the most, easiest and most successful and build the offense towards his skill set this week. So he might look a little different, but what I saw when he came in, he clearly was not prepared to play in the NFL. Like I said, that could all change with, Bill Belichick. Someone just said it. Ain't Bill Belichick a defensive-minded coach? He's a genius. Okay, yes, he comes from a defensive side of background, but the man's a genius. He knows he's a master of game plans, and you got to be confident if you're a Patriots fan. Bill knows how to prepare his team and how to prepare players and put them in the most successful situations. So I'm confident if you should be confident you're a Patriots fan. But obviously the Texans are no slouch. They got that defense, and Brock has looked decent the first 2 weeks. Their running game hasn't been, overpowering just yet, but you got to feel good.
I think I would go with the Patriots at home, regardless of who's playing a quarterback, because of how successful LeGarrette Blount in the running game has been for starters. And for two, the Texans, and this is a small sample size so far, but they haven't been this high-scoring, powerful offense that we thought they would be with Brock Osweiler, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, Lamar Miller.
Well, I don't want to expect them to be an offensive powerhouse.
Well, you bring Brock Osweiler in, everyone says, all right, this team finally has a quarterback.
Not me. No, I didn't say that. No, absolutely.
Finally has a quarterback.
No, they don't. Not yet.
That I'm just telling you what people are saying.
Well, people can say whatever they want. Ezra's been saying he's a question mark.
Arian Foster is no longer on the team because he can never stay healthy. Let's bring in Lamar Miller, young back, DeAndre Hopkins, top 3 receiver in the league, Will Fuller, young stud first-round receiver. Why not? But anyway, point is this. They scored 23 against Chicago, 19 against the Chiefs. I believe both those games were played at home. I'd have to double-check that. But they're playing this one on the road. Yeah, both games on the road or at home. So they're playing this one on the road in Foxborough. I think I got to go with New England on this one. I think I'm going to go with the Patriots. LeGarrette Blount running the ball successfully. I think they're going to rely on him a little bit more, depending on who the quarterback is. And even if Jimmy does somehow play, I don't think he's going to be slinging the ball around as much as he could be. But I'm going to take the Patriots on this one.
All I know is this.
The
Patriots are 2-0 without Tom Brady. The Patriots are 2-0 without their top running back. The Patriots are 2-0 with a second and third string quarterbacks. New England is in a very good position. Oh, wait. They're also 2-0 without who? Their top playmaker and Grunk, and my number one fantasy option and Grunk. Okay, so they're okay. They're fine. Even if they lose this game, they're nowhere near 100%, and they've looked pretty damn good. The Patriots are going to be very scary.
Yeah,
when they're in full force.
I wouldn't say this is a must. I was going to say I wouldn't say it's a must win for either team in this scenario, but you never know how playoff implications play out.
It's not a must win, especially for the AFC South.
It's not only because the Texans play in a weak division. They probably don't need every single win, and the same for the Patriots. Being the Patriots, you're still in a division with the Dolphins and the Bills, and even the Jets sometimes, who tend to show some promise and struggle in the end. So it's not a must-win from those standpoints. But when it comes to down the road, potential tiebreakers, who beat who, the seeding system, it could actually matter. So I wouldn't say it's totally not, for the Patriots, if they lose, fine. Tom Brady's coming back shortly. The Texans, they lose, fine. It's not the end of the world. But for playoff implications, I could still see it mattering. Every game matters, but it's not, I don't think.
I think it'll just hurt the psyche of the Texans a little bit. If you can't beat the Patriots without Tom Brady, Gronk, and Lewis, man.
I don't put that much stock into Dion Lewis.
Oh, man, he works perfectly.
I don't do it. I like Bill better.
Bill loves a catching. Catching. I can't even pronounce. He just loves the receiver out of the backfield. Okay, let me stop this. He just loves the receiver out of the backfield, and Lewis brings that dynamic for the team. James White is not that threat. They would like him to try to be that threat, but he's not. Lewis really propels. Over the years, he's always had that type of running back out of the backfield to really, make that offense go.
Let's
Shane
see
Vereen, everyone.
The guys are saying in the FanDuel comment box. You got J88. They will throw in the read option with Jacoby, and he will be fine.
No, not against the Texans defense. This is no cakewalk.
Texans with the W. They're a playoff team. That's Niner Faithful 52. Andrew Kim. Will Fuller has been pretty good. Has some drops, but is electrifying and burns guys. Ohio Pats fan. I feel like the Texans can focus. If the Texans can focus on and eliminate the run, make Brissett throw the ball, the Pats are going to struggle. J88, their line's also banged up too. Lewis is a top 5 running back in fantasy till he got hurt. Again, Lewis didn't play that long either when that happened. So
I'm just saying he may not be a top 10 running back, but he adds a dynamic to that offense that's already pretty good. So that's just another weapon in their arsenal. Man, I got to speak some English tonight because this is what happens when you take 2 weeks off. I'm rusty and I'm not myself. So
you got like a bottle of water or something by you?
Bottle of water?
Something, get the juices flowing.
I didn't take a shot. No, I didn't get any drinks before I started the show. 2 weeks rusty. I'm thinking too much. That's it. I'm letting it go right now. It took 20 minutes, but I'm good now.
You're looking like a quarterback who's, like a Blaine Gabbert back in Jacksonville, just kind of in the pocket, scared a little bit, don't know what the hell's going on.
I'm good now.
All right, you're good.
And I want to give a shout-out to Glass Get With His Sports. He said, hey, Dave, if you guys are so frustrated with Aaron Rodgers, my hometown Bears would gladly take him off your hands. Guess what?
Not going to happen. You guys can keep Jay Cutler.
Wait, no. How about this? 3-way trade. You give him Aaron Rodgers. The Jets will take Jay Cutler, and we'll give you a third round pick.
I'm not complaining, man. I really am not complaining.
Give you a third round pick.
I saw a couple of knuckleheads, or I've heard about a couple of knucklehead Packer fans who don't know what they're talking about, saying, "Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers on the decline." Blah blah blah. Sometimes I just wish, I'm not a violent person, but let's take it back to the cartoons, like a Tom and Jerry where they beat somebody over the head with a baseball bat or something. Let's think in that type of, mindset. Sometimes I wish I could do that to some people because they don't know what they're talking about.
Man,
it's frustrating. Anyway, let's look at the next couple matchups here. Arizona at Buffalo, Oakland at Tennessee, Cleveland at Miami. That's going to be a stinker. Baltimore at Jacksonville, Detroit at Green Bay, Denver at Cincinnati, Minnesota at Carolina, and Washington at New York, the New York Giants. Those are all noon games. I think Arizona, to start off at the back of the top of the list, Arizona at Buffalo. Buffalo's struggling. Very young, talented team, but they're struggling. Rex Ryan made a very piss-poor decision by letting Greg Roman go, pointing the fingers at somebody else other than himself. Arizona Cardinals, hot team on fire, defeated the Buccaneers last week 40-7. I got Arizona on the road on this one, man. This is an easy choice for me. This is a very complete team in Arizona.
I'm totally with you on that. Buffalo, I don't know if they're as talented as they was a couple years ago, and they're suffering through injuries. And you're right. I'm going to go with you towards blaming Rex Ryan here. But every coach, always has an scapegoat. They always fire some coordinator when they feel like their job is on the line. And it seems like he can never keep a coordinator. With the Jets, he had like 3-4, and this is just the beginning of that wave in Buffalo. That defense has been a disappointment since he's become the head coach. And I like that. Everyone knows I like Rex Ryan. That's my boy. Okay, he gave us some swag. And I thought, Fat Rexy, Swag Rexy would have been a good thing for Buffalo, but so far it just hasn't worked out. But then again, I don't think they were that talented in the beginning. Taylor, Greg Roman deserves a lot of credit for making him a very serviceable quarterback, but he's not a franchise guy. Sammy Watkins has been a huge disappointment. Okay? He is a slot receiver. I tweeted he's a slot receiver on the Jets. If you redid that draft, he's probably the 5th receiver you're taking. So there's some problems over there, and I don't think it all falls on Rex, but he deserves a lot of it. And it just shows that Doug, their former coach that resigned, deserves a lot of credit for overachieving that year he did. If you really think about it, Buffalo's roster is not that. It's just not that great. They're a competitive team. They're solid, but I don't look at Buffalo and go, hey, man, these guys should be winning 10, 11 games. They're probably the least talented group in the AFC East. And speaking about disappointment, I think the Dolphins, I was watching them, especially that first half. They looked like a joke.
I disagree. As the former GM of the Buffalo Bills from this last year in the GML, I inherited that team, and that team does have a lot of talent. That team has one of the better offensive lines in the league. That team does have one of the better secondaries in the league. That team does have, when healthy, one of the better front sevens. Jerry Hughes, Marcel Darius, and they drafted a couple of guys who unfortunately weren't able to contribute this year. I wouldn't hate on Buffalo as much as a lot of other people are, but I might sound like a hater when I say this. I'm not a fan of Tyrod Taylor. I would not, he would not be the guy I would go with at that quarterback position. Sammy Watkins, in my opinion, could be an elite receiver, just hasn't had the opportunity to get the ball as much as he should have. And also the injuries that he's dealing with right now, that's hindered his development. So, I think if the Buffalo Bills were smart, and unfortunately they've done this and haven't been successful at it, addressing the quarterback position, signing guys or drafting guys like E.J. Manuel who haven't panned out, I think that's been one of the things that's hindered that team from really making that jump. And LaShawn McCoy, I think in another year or two, he's just going to end up no longer being LaShawn McCoy. I think he ends up, kind of falling off a little bit. So they're going to need to address the running back position. Carlos Williams is no longer on the team. And I think they're going to need to address the quarterback position. But from a standpoint of talent, I think they have it.
Like I said, I think they have solid talent. Their roster doesn't blow me out the water. I think I don't think talent's their number one issue. I just think people overstate their talent. I think their number one issue, Glass kind of went at it right now. He just said Buffalo has talent. The organization as a whole is wired wrong. And he's saying wired wrong. And it proves to me in my head is mentally they're lacking. their concentration on the field, the preparation, which obviously falls to Rex Ryan, is not there. There's something wrong mentally, and I got to give a shout out for Glass. There is something wired wrong, and I mean in their head as a whole, and that's holding them back. I think that's the number one thing that's holding them back.
Those were, I guess, our 2 cents on Buffalo, but we both have Arizona right now. I think Rex Ryan doesn't have very, very long in Buffalo before I think he ends up getting fired. In my opinion, I don't know if he even lasts this season before he ends up getting the boot. But
so he brought his brother in there, and now he's firing people. You know, it's early in the year. If they can bounce back, obviously this whole narrative can change. Yeah, you see someone in the chat room that you can bounce. So I think like I said, this narrative can change. You just got to, winning cures this kind of conversation and cures a lot of things, and can obviously get the mind right. So hopefully Buffalo doesn't get it together, because I'm a Jets fan. And I'm happy we ended our that 5-game losing streak to the Buffalo Bills. So thank you, Rexy, even though you basically single-handedly took us out the playoffs last year. But I just don't think, overall, is it really – for Buffalo fans, it's a disappointment they don't make the playoffs. But expectations-wise, do we really expect Buffalo to be up there in the playoffs?
No, not right now.
All right, then. So the talent can't be that – the talent can't be that sexy.
Let's keep it moving, because we have a whole 16 games to get through. We already picked the Patriots. We picked Arizona. Let's go to Oakland, Tennessee. This one, I don't know. There's very much to talk about. Some games are just going to be kind of stinkers and boring games, but I'd probably take Oakland on the road just because of the potential factor. I like Oakland as a team overall more than I like Tennessee. So I think I'm going to go with them on this one. I'm going to go Oakland.
And I just want to give a shout out to Tennessee. The DeMarco Murray first 2 weeks has looked hasn't looked great, but has looked good and productive.
Who drafted him?
Well, he's on my Yahoo too, so I drafted him also.
I don't even like the guy.
I drafted him also, so don't worry.
I don't even like him.
I'm cheering for DeMarco Murray. He's on my Yahoo league.
Cleveland at Miami. You got Cody Kessler starting for the Cleveland Browns on the road,
and they lost their prize draft pick.
Yikes! Hey, let me tell you something. Before we get into this one, what is the name of the stadium in Miami? Do you even know off the top of your head? They keep changing these damn names. Like
I'm going to Miami on Friday, so I'll find out.
I didn't even know Tennessee Titans, their stadium was called Nissan Stadium. I had no idea.
They change it when the contract ends. Who needs to change their name? Denver needs to change their stadium name, because Sports Authority went out of business and it's called Sports Authority.
They probably already did, didn't they?
I don't think so.
Like Miami, it's Hard Rock Stadium.
See, we got we got New Era from Glass at New Era Stadium. Sun Life.
It used to be Sun Life.
Now it's Hard Rock.
Buffalo is New Era. Miami's is now Hard Rock Stadium. I thought it was Sun Life. Beats me, man.
Guess what? I don't care about anybody's names.
Right.
Arenas. It's all advertisement. That's all it is.
Anyway, so you got the Browns, Cody Kessler, going in to Miami with no Corey Coleman, no Cameron Irving at center, rookie quarterback drafted in the 3rd round out of USC. Man, I think this is. I think that you could kind of probably have to lean towards Miami on this one. They haven't looked good at all,
and
they haven't looked good at all. And last week they scored a lot of garbage points to make it look like they were in the game against New England when they really weren't.
No, they weren't. I was watching the game. Like I said, I got these Patriots fans right next to me clapping on every time the Patriots scored. Oh, why was I in Boston? I have no idea. Now I'm going to be in Miami. It's like I'm going to every city. I'm not going to Buffalo, so that's the not going to Buffalo. But I went to Boston this past week. I'm going to Miami.
Hey, yo, Matt, my buddy Matt's in the chat. I don't know. Oh my God. I don't know if I said Rock Hard Stadium, but it's Hard Rock Stadium.
Rock Hard Stadium. Whoa.
Anyway.
I hope you don't invite him over, David, like that. Hey, ladies, you ever been to Rock Hard Stadium?
Oh God. Anyway, you got Baltimore at Jacksonville.
This should be a good game.
It should be, but Jacksonville, it was weird because they laid an egg against the San Diego Chargers last week, and I don't think many people were expecting them to do that. And San Diego, they came out guns blazing week 2 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They dominated that team at home. So it's really, really hard to assess the Jaguars right now because everyone wants to talk up their talent. But
hey, David, what I always tell you about the offseason. A lot of pieces. It's a lot of pieces, a lot of talent that's with the Jaguars. It takes time, okay, to develop chemistry. And the Chargers are no pushover for one reason only. They have Phillip Rivers, and they have a first-round running back from last year who's going to be a lot better from last year. Bottles throws too many interceptions. Bortles. Uh-oh. Coltrane said couple of free tickets to Rock Hard Stadium. Free hot dog giveaway.
Oh, God.
Free hot dog giveaway without the buns, right? Take it easy, Dave. Take it easy.
If you had to pick a winner, though, for that game, Baltimore and Jacksonville, I don't know who I would go with.
Jacksonville's at home?
Jacksonville's at home. But Baltimore hasn't looked too bad either. I'm gonna stick with Jacksonville. I'm gonna stick with the home team. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. They were on the road last week. They play in the Eastern time. They have to go all the way to the West Coast. I don't know if that's an excuse. They lost. They're back home. Let's see what they do. I got Jacksonville at home this week.
I feel you. You know, the pick'ems, I suck at pick'ems, and Glass would totally concur with this because I'm always in this pick'em league. Shout out to Get With It Sports. I'm in this pick'em league, and I'm trash with this. So I'm going to go opposite of you. I'm going with the Ravens because veteran team, 2-0. Flacco's healthy. Mike Wallace has been a very nice – like I said, I said this in the offseason. Mike Wallace was going to be a good addition to Baltimore because he goes nice with Flacco's arm, and he's added that dynamic. He's stretched the field. Steve Smith can work, the middle of the field and open up the running lanes. Baltimore, like I said, their record did not indicate what this team can do.
Right.
So I'm going with Baltimore.
But Niner Faithful said it there. He says, could they be the worst right now 2-0 team in the league?
The Baltimore?
Yeah. I think it's possible. They had a 20-2 deficit against the Browns last week that they had to overcome and beat Cleveland.
Sorry, Niner. I'm going with
who?
Surprise New York Giants.
No.
I'm going with the New York Giants. They haven't
ironically enough with the Giants, their defense has outperformed their offense so far.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying. First of all, I'm not saying the Giants are trash, but you're saying worst 2-0 team. I was going to say I was leaning towards Eagles and Giants, but I'm going to go with the Giants because they should have lost to, the Cowboys week 1. They didn't. Obviously, they pulled it out the win, so they get credit for that. And the Saints, a 16-13 battle when they should have blew them out. Like you said, the defense has looked really good. Well, especially versus the Saints. Versus the Cowboys, it was a bend, don't break kind of day, and the Cowboys were being very conservative because they're missing their, Tony Romo. I think the Giants.
I wouldn't say
Beckham
Giants.
hasn't, like you said, the offense has. Where's the offense? Where's Beckham?
Wait, if they click, Eli Manning, OBJ, let them do their thing, and the defense plays how they've played so far, that's a team that's probably going to win that division.
Every team, if this clicks, that clicks, and this and that.
But that's the thing. We've seen this Giants offense do it year in and year out. And what's struggled for that team? The defense. The defense has not been able to keep points off the board.
Well, this question here. We got a ton of comments here. We got Texans by Black Mamba, J88 Texans. Then Black Mamba goes with Eagles. Black Mamba's everywhere. Anybody that's not the Patriots. Andrew says Eagles. Niner Faithful said, I actually asked the question. I didn't mention the Ravens. That's what Raver Faithful put.
I might go with the Eagles. I might say Eagles.
J88 put Giants. Bird Gang says Eagles are better. Michael said the Ravens and the Eagles. And Jay Witta Sports says, Get Witta Sports. I said Jay Witta. Get Witta Sports says Ravens. And then the Niners says Eagles have to be the worst because they only beat the Bears and the Browns.
And it's also, we're talking about the Eagles. The Eagles, the team who knows how to mess it up somewhere along the line.
You know what it is? I think, you got a rookie quarterback over there, rookie coach. I can imagine why everybody's saying the Eagles are, the worst 2-0 team. But let's give them credit. That's a great start to this season with the low expectations they had from a lot of people.
Right.
And I was watching the game with Carson Wentz. I got to give him credit. I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar. He's going to be the next Aaron Rodgers. But the first 2 weeks, and especially what I saw versus the Bears, dude, you got to feel so good if you're a Eagles fan. You just got to feel good. You got to feel confident. You just really do.
It always makes me go back to draft day when they show the graphic of all of the quarterbacks that have gone 1 and 2 in all of the previous year's drafts with Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning and all those other drafts where a quarterback goes 1-2, Andrew Luck, RG3. How has it worked out? How did it work out? And this year, too early. No, we haven't seen Jared Goff. We probably will soon. This year, it looks like that number 2 pick is looking better than the number 1 pick.
So forget about the picks. Forget about, who do you think is going to win? David. A lot of people have been talking about this already. We'll go with the early prediction because this is what we love to do when it comes to sports talk. And I'm going to ask everyone in the chat room, did the Browns make a mistake by trading away that pick and not getting Carson Wentz?
No.
Will they regret it? No, they won't regret it.
No, I'll tell you why.
And you get the boot for my new Jet sneakers, all right, David? How dare you?
I'll tell you why. You can't ask the question
I just want
without me giving the answer.
I just want to show off. I got these new green and white. Goes with my jersey. Oh, just go ahead.
All right. So when it comes to the ideology that the Browns had going into this draft, they wanted to acquire and stockpile as many picks. That was a strategy which they executed. They trade down 2 different times, one with the Eagles, one with the Titans, to acquire as many picks as they can, and draft players that they're going to. They kept all the rookies too. And they drafted like 15 guys. They kept them all on the roster. They have like 15 rookies on the roster. From a standpoint in which you're looking to draft a quarterback, they went with their guy in the 3rd round, being Cody Kessler, who we're going to see against the Dolphins this week. Now, whether he's going to be good or not, that is yet to be seen. But the reason why I said no, because I feel like if you asked me that question last year or the year before, I would have said yes, they made a mistake. is because we've seen guys like Russell Wilson come out in the 3rd round. Derek Carr going late, I believe, in the 1st round. Or
first pick of the 2nd. That's all right.
Or was he the first pick of the 2nd round? I'm thinking of Teddy Bridgewater that year. We've seen guys go in the 2nd round like a Drew Brees or a Brett Favre. You don't always have to be the 1st or 2nd overall pick and be this elite quarterback in order to be successful in the league. You can find guys later on. So if the Browns were smart, now we don't know what Cody Kessler is going to do. But, if they were smart, they take, they trade back, they stockpile picks, and if they find a guy in the middle of the rounds that they like, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, take them there. So that's what they ended up doing. And I'm not going to fault them for that because it's way too early to tell. But I can tell you that I absolutely love the Corey Coleman pick, and I'm not going to knock that pick at all. So,
well, I will. Because guess what? Coleman ain't going to have a great career without a quarterback. And you know what?
Who would have known that RG3 was going to get hurt? Nobody.
But was RG3 really the answer, the future for the Browns?
RG3 is absolutely still young and has a lot of potential. And if I was,
and he absolutely got kicked out of Washington. Why?
I'll tell you
why. Because he's injury prone and he hasn't had much success lately.
If the owner in Washington wasn't an idiot, and knew what he was doing, you know what I'm going to blame it on? I'm going to blame it. I'm about to go off because I'm blaming the field, the turf, the grass in Washington. All right? You have a mobile quarterback in RG3 who had a phenomenal rookie season, an absolutely great rookie season, led the team to the playoffs. He snapped his knee up. In the grass that in out of all 32 stadiums, that grass, that field is the worst by far, hands down. Them in Chicago, with how bad the grass is there. You can't have a quarterback who's going to run around. And guess what happened? Guess what happened, Ezra? You know what happened. He can't. He can't run. He can't play.
You have to.
Kirk takes over now, like you predicted early on. Kirk took over. RG3 sat himself out this last season. Now he's the Browns starting quarterback. If it was me and I was the Browns, I would have done the same thing. I would have given RG3 a shot. Not going to sign him to a 5 or 6 year deal. They signed him to a 2-year deal. Best option on the market between him and Fitzpatrick. And he just got hurt. So I'm not knocking the Browns.
Can you believe that? David's not knocking the Browns. How many what was the last video you didn't knock the Browns?
Not knocking the Browns, knock the grass.
I'm usually with that, that sentiment. If you feel something, you go for it. This is their game plan. Overall, I'm not really getting on the Browns. But at the same time, they had to have, since they've gotten back to Cleveland, 0 franchise quarterbacks. 0. They've tried a few times with Tim Crouch and a few others.
They tried many times.
But you got to,
Brady Quinn,
like my Jets. We haven't had a franchise quarterback since Ken O'Brien. Okay. Obviously, Ken O'Brien. He wasn't a Hall of Famer, but Ken O'Brien did all right. He did okay.
How about Chad Pennington? He wasn't too bad.
Well, he wasn't too bad either. Who wasn't that? Chad Pennington was okay. He was solid, but he wasn't a franchise guy. You just got to keep trying. You just have to keep trying. Like I said, my Jets don't have that franchise just yet, that franchise guy yet. That's why it don't bother me. Take a quarterback again in the 1st round, 2nd round, until someone shows you they can be that guy. And if the Browns would have stayed at the 2nd overall pick and picked up Carson Wentz and maybe sat him down for a year, I got no problem. I've always believed in sitting down quarterbacks. I've always said, hey, you got to get Marcus Mariota. You guys watch the videos. You watch the Red Zone Blitz. You hear me about these young quarterbacks, especially with the Tennessee. They got Marcus Mariota. You got to get him weapons. You got to get him an offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, you can't rely on a rookie quarterback to change, your team from getting non-playoffs to playoff team without talent around. But if you can see the poise and the dynamic, and you can see someone pretty early on the football field who can be special in this league, you just got to keep trying until you find that guy, and you will build that confidence around and build the team around that player.
And the other thing with Carson Wentz, 2 games. We haven't seen a full season. We don't know
like I said, I don't think I'm ready to call him a Hall of Famer, but you got to love that he control his huddle, can control the line of scrimmage, control. He's given authority to call audibles already. You gotta appreciate that. You don't see that from, like you said, 2 guys with 2 starts in their rookie year.
And this class of quarterbacks between Paxton Lynch, the top 3, Paxton Lynch, Wentz, and Goff. Initially, I didn't like Goff at all. Paxton Lynch, I watched Carson Wentz third. And I was surprised at how mobile he was for his size. But it was, for me, it was a toss-up, man. I didn't have one that I liked over the other. I watched Goff a second time. I liked him a little bit more because he was a quarterback who went in college now. We haven't seen him, but he went through his progressions on the field, receiver 1, 2, 3, if he has to look back. Goff did that because you could tell where his head was looking. Where Wentz, I noticed he would stare down his top guy. He'd snap the ball, stare him down, and throw it. He wouldn't go through progressions. So that was the knock I gave on Wentz, but so far from what we've seen, he's been fine. It's really weird when it comes to that talent evaluation and you watch the tape, those things, but then when it comes time for them to play in the NFL, those things aren't evident anymore.
That's when you really see it. That's when you really see it. How can he handle the pressure, the expectations? We can all practice, combines, all those other things are controlled situations. And in college, there is obviously there's pressure on you, but it's not, you know what? This is your team. This is your career. This is your support, your family pressure now. Your legacy pressure now when you make it to the NFL. And most of the time when you're a top talented guy in college, you're going to eat alive 80-90% of the teams that you face throughout your career. Now in the NFL, you're facing everyone that's on the same level as you. It's just a different animal, and that's when you really see if a guy can control men. Can he be a leader amongst men? People with wives, children, It's just a whole different dynamic, a different mentality, and can they handle that? We've seen throughout the history of NFL, a lot of quarterbacks were not able to handle that. Ryan Leaf, the ultimate,
the ultimate
bust.
bum.
The ultimate bum bust. He could have handled it mentally. He had all the talent in the world. More talent than Peyton Manning. But he didn't have this. He didn't have control. He couldn't handle the pressure. His mind couldn't handle it. So that's when you really see it when you hit the NFL field. And right now in his head, first glance, it looks like Carson Wentz has it all together in his head. Jamarcus Russell is the ultimate bust. I don't know. I think Ryan Leaf, if you construct the ultimate bust for a quarterback, I would still put Ryan Leaf over Jamarcus Russell. I don't remember Jamarcus Russell blowing up in people's faces in a locker room.
Yeah, you don't see that too often.
Jamarcus Russell was just, he was obviously he's an all-time straight-up scrub.
Yeah, paid and he quit. Let's get through some of these more matchups. Next one being the Lions at the Packers. I'm going with Green Bay solely based on the fact that they need a bounce-back win against the division rival at home. gave up a game to the Titans, and it just didn't look very well last week. So I'm taking Green Bay. It's a close one either, with how poor the offense has looked and some of the injuries that the Packers have now. So, make a pick there, but
I'm going to give a shout out because I've always got on this man all the time, Matthew Stafford. And if you go back to his last, 8 weeks, it seems like he's turned a corner. It seems like he truly knows now how to play quarterback. I've always got on him for being very inconsistent. He's always been a fantasy monster. He always gets you over 4,000 yards, over 25 touchdowns, etc. But now he's cutting down his turnovers, being a leader. He knows this is a squad now. He knows he has to step up without Megatron. Matthew Stafford, I believe, has turned the corner, and I've been getting on him forever. And I think your Packers will see that this week, and I think the Lions will take this game because of Matthew Stafford.
All right.
I know you don't want to hear that, Packers fan. I know you don't want to hear that.
No, it's because, last year was the first time they won in Lambeau since 1992. Make it 2 years in a row.
So you think they're going to go another 25 years without winning?
Why not?
I know you would like that.
I'd be okay with that.
I know you'd be okay with that. But the only thing is they lost their guy for the year. Amir's out for the season.
He is.
We were talking about injuries at the beginning of the show. Amir's out for the season. That's a big loss, but it's not like they run the ball a whole lot anyway. That was my thing too. I said you always got to help Matt. I always got on him, but I always got on the coaching staff too. They throw the ball way too much. And now with this loss, hopefully they don't revert to that once again, that they just throw the ball and just make themselves one-dimensional.
Well, we have to also see if a guy like Sam Shields comes back from the concussion protocol that he's been on. I think he suffered like his 5th concussion now in his NFL career. So they're playing him really safe. They
even though I would never want to do this to another human being, I feel like human beings should have rights over their own bodies and stuff like that. But with the NFL being so health conscious, which I should slam reports that I read, I'll save that boot for later. I have a rant inside of me that I must get out. Do you think, because you said this man has had 5 concussions, do you think that Players Association should sign off and players should sign off? Let's say you have 7 career concussions. I'm sorry, mandatory, you have to retire.
No, because then here's the initially you think that, oh yeah, maybe, sure, why not? But you're going to have players who aren't going to report concussions, as they already do now, for various reasons. They don't want to get pulled from the game. Some guys,
the medical staff sees you dizzy. They're gonna check you out.
Right. There's some concussions that you can't hide, but there are some that you can. They might be minor concussions. They might be you hit your head, you're like, oh, you feel a little woozy, but not everybody's gonna have all of their eyes on you. They're always checking everybody else. Aren't going to report it to coaches for the reason that they're 2nd or 3rd string guys filling in for starters, and they want to show coaches that they can play. They want to earn their paychecks. They want to earn that living. They want to stay in that limelight because this league is unforgiving. It's not going to stop for you. And if you
but I'm saying, isn't that help the argument a little bit, saying that these players?
Because if they find out that, oh, well, if I start tallying up my concussions, guess what? I've already got 20. My ass is retired before I even got in the league. There's some guys who have suffered 7 concussions before they even entered the NFL. How are you going to play?
Do you hear that? Do you hear that? These guys already suffer, throughout their careers before getting an NFL.
Choice. That is their choice, whether they want to play or not.
Okay, you say that, but then obviously, I'm with the players. They should have won. They should have got a lot more money for the lawsuit they had against the NFL, the old timers. But then you got NFL players suing the NFL saying, you know, I didn't know about this information, such and such. I got all these injuries because my body got battered, and I deserve this money. So for the NFL to protect themselves, you're gonna be like, you know what? 8 concussions, 7 concussions. I'm sorry. You're forced to retire, and obviously let's say if it got to that point, which I doubt will ever get to that point. I don't think it'll ever even be a discussion. I'm just throwing this out there because you just said, damn, 5 concussions already in the NFL. I will hope the Players Association will say, you know what, all right, if that's the case, their contract becomes automatically guaranteed. Obviously, that will put more pressure, and obviously there would be more cynicalness going on with the NFL teams and hiding concussions and telling the doctors don't report it so they don't have to pay that kind of money. But it sucks.
Yeah, and I still feel like there's players who aren't going to be honest about.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
And there's others like Chris Borland who suffered concussions and retired after 1 year. And he looked like he was going to have a promising career. So you just never know. I think it's based solely on the individual who is playing in the NFL on a whatever various team at whatever various position it may be. It comes down to that individual and what decision they want to make. If they want to put their health over everything else and suffer 1 concussion and be done, or if it's somebody who wants to suffer 20 concussions and keep playing. I think it's solely up to that person and how they want to go about their career. I don't think they should put a number on
it. Goodell should be more transparent with concussions and critics of the NFL. Goodell, the tyrant. I don't think that's Goodell. I think that's the owners. Okay? To be honest. Remember, Goodell works for the owners. So if the owners say, hey, we got to sweep this under the rug, that's what Goodell's going to do.
They're not going to do that, though.
Well, I know, but I'm saying I don't think we should put this blame on Goodell. Obviously, he's the commissioner. A lot of people will point the fingers, but the real cynical mofos out here are the owners.
Yeah, but people forget. All right, I understand that the NFL is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for everyone who plays in the NFL, who has an opportunity to play in the league. But on the same note, you have to understand that these guys have been doing it since kids, most of them. They know what they're getting themselves into when it comes to this contact and very physical sport. They're not going to go out on the field and sing Kumbaya and eat marshmallows. That's not the case. This is a very violent sport. They know what they're getting themselves into. This also has to fall partly on the players, because every time I hear about these older generation guys trying to get back and grab some money grabs, yes, they might have been misled on the information that they were given from a medical standpoint regarding concussions and the trauma to the head. But with that also being said, you knew what you were doing and getting yourself into when you were playing the sport. So it goes both ways. You can't put it all on Roger Goodell. Some fault has to lie with the players, acknowledging the fact that they were partaking in a violent sport. Because saying that you weren't is ignorant. I would think. I think it's ignorant. But that's different. We can talk about concussions all day. Moving on. We got the Broncos at the Bengals. We got like less than 20 minutes here before the show's over, so let's get rolling with some of these picks. Denver at Cincinnati. Who you got there?
Oh man, this is gonna be.
Should be a good one.
That should be a very good one. And Denver, shout outs to Denver, 2-0, right? Everyone thought. And they're running. Well, C.J. Anderson, he had an amazing first week. I don't know what he did. How did their running game do in the second week? I'm not sure how Denver's.
C.J. hasn't looked too bad so far. I think this is gonna be a close game, man. I really do. I'm
gonna go with Cincinnati here.
I was feeling Cincinnati as well. I think I'm gonna go Cincinnati too.
I'm going with Cincinnati because obviously they're balanced. Andy Dalton seems he's not at that MVP level that he was playing last year, but he's no scrub either. He's developing chemistry with his new receivers besides AJ Green. And I think this will be a nice test for them this week to see how it is to be stacked up against the best defense in the NFL, or one of the best defenses in the NFL. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati just on the feeling because they're more balanced and they can stop. They can stop the Denver run and make them one-dimensional.
Minnesota at Carolina. I'm gonna go with Carolina. No AP for the Vikings, which is a huge blow. And Stephon Diggs is gonna have to do it again. He's got to be the man now in that offense with Sam Bradford.
This is another good game. This should be another sweet one to watch.
I like Carolina here. I don't think I have to think about this one too much.
Oh man, no credit for Vikings, huh?
Mm-mm.
Wow, Packers fans. Which one? Who's at home here?
Carolina.
Cam Newton. He truly is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in NFL, and if he continues at this pace that he was last year, one of the top 2, top 3. I'm gonna go with Carolina because of Cam Newton. The man is he's just a total package. Run the ball, big, physical. He's got an arm. He's got Calvin Benjamin back, who's been that big red zone threat. I'm gonna go with Carolina, but I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be very close. It would not surprise me if the Vikings win, but I'm going with Carolina.
I'm a little sad. I'm a little sad that this next matchup is at the same time that the Packers play. But you got the Redskins at the Giants. You got Josh Norman and OBJ going at it again in New York at MetLife Stadium. For the sake of me picking the Giants to win this division, I think you have to win your division by beating your divisional opponents. So with the Giants playing at home, with the way their defense has played, with the way Kirk Cousins has gotten some scrutiny from his teammates, I think I'm going to go with the Giants on this one over the Redskins.
I'm going with the Giants because I don't see the Giants offense going 3 straight games looking lackluster, right? I think this is one of those games that they'll finally get the ball rolling again.
Yeah, I agree. I think now whether Josh Norman shuts down OBJ or OBJ lights up Josh Norman or whether they here's a bet before we keep moving on. Do they get into a scuffle again?
No.
I say yes. I could see them. I maybe not punches or anything, but at least at one point or another, referees and teammates are going to get involved with them being separated. Maybe once at least. I'm going to say.
Well, I think they're going to be fully warned before the game. Hey, you two, such and such. Anything happens, you're going to get suspended. I think they're going to be on their best behavior because they'll be getting plenty of talk before the game starts.
3:05 game. You got Los Angeles at Tampa Bay.
Can Gronk come back already? I need him on my fantasy team. Like a draft.
I don't know about the Rams against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers laid an egg last week. The Rams barely beat Seattle, a Seattle team that we don't know.
The Rams didn't they beat Seattle
9-3?
Well, you talking about problems?
I'm taking the Buccaneers at home. I picked them early to be a wild card favorite in the NFC. I got to stick by that. Jameis Winston, I think, bounces back from a poor performance last week. And we could see Jared Goff come in if Case Keenum stinks up the joint, which wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. But the prior 2 first overall picks from last year's draft and this year's draft could be playing in this game at some point. But we're
not going to talk about Seattle only scoring 15 points so far this year.
We will. We could. When do they play this week?
15 points.
No, where the heck are they?
They play the 49ers.
Oh, that's the next matchup we're talking about. Pick Buccaneers and Rams, and we'll get to them.
I really don't care. But since I'm gonna go with Buccaneers.
All right, Bucks. San Francisco at Seattle. Oh, man, Seattle.
Woo!
15 points all season.
So you think they'll be calling Marshawn? Bro, you could come back. You could come on back.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's wrong with Seattle. The
Rams, they have their kryptonite. Like, what's going on?
I don't know. That's true because they do struggle against St. Louis for whatever they do struggle against LA, the St. Louis Rams. God dang it.
You just said
Los Angeles Rams. And
LA Rams.
This is another divisional game with the Niners. I don't know, man. This is it's weird. Who would you pick?
It's not like the 49ers are a juggernaut. Okay, but I'm gonna go with Seattle because of their defense against the 49ers, a lack of offense, and I think they're gonna be able to get to Blaine Gabbert and create havoc. So, a defensive win for the Seahawks.
Man, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I might go with the 49ers, man. I might go with the 49ers. If they get enough pressure on Russell Wilson, for whatever reason, everyone's calling out Seattle's O-line. I haven't watched their games so far this year. I haven't seen it for myself. But the 49ers, I have watched a little bit of them. And I've seen, I'd say, at least an average team. And the Seahawks have played well below average. So I say the Niners, knowing what the Seahawks bring to the table most times than not with them being in the division, they have a better chance than other teams beating them. Miami almost beat them in week 1. So
it's funny how I'm seeing, the 49ers are averaging 27 points a game. The Niners D is actually solid. Didn't the Carolina Panthers just drop 45-plus points on them?
Yes, they did.
I was watching that game, guys. It was a cakewalk for Carolina. Yes, the 49ers early have looked, come on. Have they really been that surprising? They spanked the Rams, that one-dimensional Rams, and they got smoked by Carolina. And all of a sudden, they're very underrated. We're this and that. No, I'm not on that bandwagon. Sorry, son. Okay, I got Seattle establishing, you know what? We're not almost in the same level with the 49ers. Hell no. I'm not giving you credit. 49ers faithful. Your 49ers, great organization, more Super Bowls than my Jets. I'll give you all that. But this year, sorry.
So who you got? Seattle?
Easy.
They're
going to score 7 points and win by 7.
All right, well, what about your Jets? New York Jets at the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a stupid question.
The Chiefs have looked surprisingly
We're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Jets by 45 points.
I might take the Jets on the road.
459 yards.
On the road. Kansas City Chiefs just haven't looked very good. Barely beat the Chargers. Lost to the Texans. Didn't put up too many points in that game. I'll take the Jets on the road. I like that third guys got.
I wonder what the Jets. I wonder what the Chiefs need.
What's his name?
Bring him to another level. I wonder what they need.
Ezra.
I'm gonna say quarterback. What happened?
What's the third receiver on the Jets? Anunwa? What's his name?
Oh, Quincy Anunwa. Yes, he's a big physical receiver.
I like that guy.
I like him too. He's a
man
guy.
Fitzpatrick. He wasn't throwing to Brandon Marshall early in that game. He wasn't throwing to Eric Decker.
He was even thrown into.
He's throwing to Quinn.
He was even thrown into Marshall Jr. and he had almost 50, 60 yards. We almost had 3 receivers with 100 yards. We had easily 3 guys with over 90. 2 of them went over 100 with Marshall and Decker. But Quincy, yes, he had 90-plus yards. Big physical guy. That's what they like in the Jets offense. If you look at all 4 top receivers, the 2 Marshalls, Decker, and Quincy, big physical guys. So, yeah, got to like that.
I'll take the Jets. You got the Jets. San Diego at Indianapolis. I don't know who to pick for this one.
I don't even know what, I haven't cared about the Colts this year. I
haven't cared about the Colts, and I haven't cared about the Chargers.
Let me see what's up with the Colts. What are the Colts doing this year so far? Are they 1-1? I know they're 0-2.
They're 0-2. San Diego's 1-1.
I told people they're scrubs. They're still scrubs. I'm going with the Chargers because the Colts are scrubs. Philip Rivers.
I don't know. I can't keep betting against Andrew Luck though. At the same time,
it's not Andrew Luck's fault that they have no running game.
They don't have a defense either.
I was gonna say they have no running game. They got no defense. Their offensive line is blah blah yeah. It's not Andrew Luck. It's this whole organization, talent, this roster. You can't blame it on Andrew Luck.
But do they start the season 0-3?
Why not? The roster.
I don't see that. I'm going Colts.
This is why I've always said
it's a red zone blitz, Ezra. You gotta just bam, blitz it in there. The Colts. That's what I'm going with.
That's why I said the Colts. And the statistics, people always get on Andrew Luck's interceptions. Oh, the man's got to carry everything on his back. Of course, he's throwing a lot of interceptions. He's running around. He's worried about getting touchdowns all the time.
Zackification. He says the Chargers IR looks like the Constitution.
Man.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
Good thing for me. I drafted Travis Benjamin.
We got 3 more matchups to get through in 5 minutes.
Travis Benjamin. Oh, drafted him.
2 undefeated teams. Pittsburgh at Eagles. I think the Eagles lose this one. I got Pittsburgh on the road.
Come on now.
What?
Especially if this is gonna be if the Eagles defense, this right here will show you how good their defense is. But if it becomes any type of shootout, you're not keeping up with the Steelers, even though they're still missing Bell and etc.
The Eagles. I was about to come through the screen.
Come on now. Come on now.
No,
come on, son. Was it? Come on, son.
This is going to be Carson Wentz's test, and it's not even going to be against a very, very great defense. It's going to be a defense, not a top 5, but it's going to be against the Steelers, and he's going to have to keep up with Big Ben. Chicago at Dallas. That's the Sunday night game. AT&T Stadium.
Well, Jay Cutler's hurt right now. His thumb, right?
The whole damn team is hurt in Chicago. They're pulling guys from the stands.
Their defense looks solid, though. Their defense looks solid, even though I know it's against a rookie.
Eddie Goldman hurt, starting nose tackle.
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys, but I'm just saying I don't think the Bears are much scrubs like people think. But I'm going with Dallas.
I'm gonna go with Dallas, and then the Monday night matchup, which could be a shootout. Atlanta at New Orleans.
Jets. I'm going with Jets here.
Atlanta at New Orleans.
I think after Brandon Marshall gets 144 yards, okay, versus the Chiefs, he's gonna fly down, play for the Falcons. And
I'm going Atlanta against New Orleans on the road.
I'm gonna go with Julio Jones having a big game.
The Saints struggled. The Saints struggled big time to put points up last week.
Yeah, because they're not giving the ball to Mark Ingram, who's killing my fantasy team. So yeah,
I'm going with Falcons on the road.
I'm going with the Jets on the road.
They've showed more potential offensively than the Saints have. So
Monday night game right here.
Good one. Should be a good one. But those are all of the matchups for this week that we've got.
You guys can take off Monday night because my Jets got this easy.
That's the show, man. That is the show. The Red Zone Blitz. It's been a good one.
I'm hungry too, man. I want to eat some codfish. And I told you, once I loosened up, I was rocking since then. First 20 minutes, edit, get rid of it. I was drunk because I was sober, if that makes any sense.
I got you. Yeah.
Wait, I need to get into a rant. Didn't I say I was going to get into a rant? Because I was watching, PTI and Speak for Yourself. I was all over the place with Fox 1 and ESPN. And there was a report saying that the Patriots have been encouraging Jimmy G to play through injury tomorrow night. And when these guys are debating such and such, is Bill Belichick, making the right move, and this, I'm saying, anyway, whatever they were talking about, I realized one thing throughout this whole, on both networks. How come everybody's overlooking that an organization is encouraging a player, a young player, to play through injury? We talk about, the NFL is should be looking out for the players and such, and the media, who always acts so righteous, who always, they give the answers. They'll let you know if you're going to get through the gates of heaven. The righteous ones, the media, are not getting on, if these reports are true, because this is allegedly, on the Patriots and Bill Belichick. Because if Bill Belichick and the Patriots are actually trying to convince a player to play through injury, the Players Association should be very involved, and the media should be demanding that, and other players should be demanding that these guys should attack the Patriots and Bill Belichick, because you can't be doing that. You're endangering people's careers by trying to encourage them. And you know what? That might hurt Jimmy G's value if he gets hurt, or might end his career because he's, because Tom Brady's done it before. Just because another player's done it before doesn't mean you need to. And I'm very sad and very disgusted by Fox Sports 1, ESPN, whoever else debates this damn report and doesn't attack Bill Belichick and the Patriots if these reports are true. So you know what? You're hypocrites. F you. F you. I'm still going to watch your shows because I'm also a hypocrite. But the point is, don't act righteous, because you're not.
I wish I just listened. I wish I would have listened to your rant. But while you just were about to go off, my cousin sent me a link to 538.com.
So I was talking
for those
to myself.
Unfamiliar.
That's cool.
It was statistics. It's statistics on all the NFL stuff. So I'm sitting here looking at all of these crazy numbers while Ezra is talking about, I don't even know what you just said.
He doesn't even care. That's all right. That's cool. Some friendship.
Who on TV pissed you off?
That's all right. It's cool. That's all right. When my Jets beat you in the Super Bowl this year, I don't want to, cool. Karma. That's all. It won't even be close, too, because my Jets don't lose in the Super Bowl. We undefeated.
Yep.
100% winning record. Don't forget it.
Anyway, if you don't want to talk about it, if you want to repeat it, that's fine.
You think Sam Shields is really going to slow down Brandon Marshall? You better. Oh, man, I can't wait.
Of course.
I can't wait to see your sad face.
He shut him down when he was in the NFC North. When he was in Chicago, shut him down.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't either.
Undefeated.
All right, well, give a shout out to everybody. Niner Faithful 52, Zachification, Raider Hazard. Seems like you guys have been commenting the last 20 million comments. XKT, Michael Rogalski, Coltrane, Get Witted Sports, this is Glass from Get Witted Sports, Black Mamba, Bird Gang, the Postman,
Hard Rock Stadium. Shout outs to you guys.
Anybody I didn't say, J88, Andrew Kim, all you guys, appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys contributing to the show. There would be no show without you guys, so thank you. And hopefully we'll catch you guys again next week on the Red Zone Blitz for week 3. We'll be going over all that good stuff. So if there's anything you want to tell the guys before we...
I promise next week I'll have a drink before the show. It won't be a rough start for me. And I appreciate you guys. Appreciate David. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. If I see you guys in Miami, any of you guys give me a high five. If you see me walking around, I don't think anybody's a Dolphins fan here or lives in Miami. But if you see me, hey, even if I'm shirtless on the beach, no problem. Come and give me a hug. It's fine. I got no chest hair. It's cool. See, no chest hair. You don't have to worry about anything. I'll be right, and hopefully I'll stop by Rock Hard Stadium.
All right.
Go sit down and have a seat.
All right, guys. We're going to head out. Have a good week. Watch all the games. Come back next week. Tell all your friends all about us. Catch us on Facebook. Catch us on Twitter. We'll be there. We'll be talking to you guys all week long about football, because that's all we do on the Red Zone Blitz. Until next week, guys, we're out.
Later.